Hello everyone, my name's Colby. I am an indie game developer, played D&D for quite some time, and this is my buddy Philip.
Hi.
Hi. Long-term DM and D&D player, also the person that got me into D&D, and basically everyone that I play D&D with.
You know it.
Yep. We're going to talk about some D&D stuff. Last week we talked about, I think it was the feats, spells, and the new Owlin race, among other things. But one of the things we talked about was something I was excited for in Strixhaven, which were the multi subclass classes. So subclasses that can work in multiple classes. In Strixhaven it's all spell based, so it was um, they were all like high level spellcasters that got shared across it, except the clerk. But it turns out I was wrong about that. That was in the
Oh,
Unearthed Arcana.
oh, really?
But they scrapped the whole thing. Like they made like four or five subclasses for like multiple classes. But yeah, that's the first thing we're going to talk about, and kind of like the reasons of why they got rid of it. Um, yeah,
Weird.
so yeah, I was looking for it in the book, and it turns out the feats that we learned about last week were the replacements for it. So quite the
Oh,
dumbed
that's
down version.
lame.
Yeah. So
This Strixhaven book is really disappointing, if I'm honest, for content.
I know, and that's something we're going to talk about too, but let's go over their reasoning first and let's see if you agree with it. I have my own opinion, of course. So, Jeremy Crawford, I can't remember his title, but he is big guy and Wizards
Crawdaddy.
Crawdaddy. That's his
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, because his name's Crawford.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so he went and did some sort of interview. I don't know. I'm not a journalist. I just found quotes. And he said, occasionally we put some experimental things in front of D&D fans and ask them if they want to see more of it. In this case, the very simple answer was no. People love for D&D subclasses to speak People love for D&D subclasses to speak to the distinctiveness of a particular class. 5e fans also want subclasses to be usable in as many settings as possible. Since so many DMs homebrew their own settings, in this case there was a bit of an uphill climb since the subclasses were so tied to a particular setting, that being the magical college of Strixhaven. Which, honestly, I do think is fair. After kind of reading them, it was pretty heavily tied to Strixhaven, just like, the new feats are.
Yeah, but it's Dungeons and Dragons. You can do anything.
Yeah, well, that's true. You can always change it. Um, but yeah, apparently it was based off like feedback from the community that they did not want it. Like
I,
not,
I I will never understand not wanting more content because you don't have to use it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
like
also, I looked up who he is. He's the lead rules designer at Wizards of the Coast, particularly for D&D 5e.
okay, pretty important guy in D&D.
For the official content, anyway.
Yeah. So it seems like there's two reasons. One is people wanted like subclasses to like be distinct, like per class, and the other is that they were very tied to Strixhaven, which I don't know. Like if they were very tied to Strixhaven, seems like the logical answer would be to kind of make them a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
But and I don't know, in terms of the distinctiveness of a particular class, maybe I'm just not in tune with the community or not don't agree with them, but I don't care. I think there's room for all as well. There can be
I like multi-classing more. So like stuff like that would have been cool. Because I have more fun multi-classing than I do just going straight one class.
yeah. I think it's very interesting when you can create some. different combinations. And like I read a decent amount about how like it was possibly like pretty imbalanced and wasn't really well done for the subclasses. We're not going to get into details of like all the
Yeah, like other subclasses aren't imbalanced.
That's true. That is very true.
Freaking divination wizard can just roll dice and yeah, I'll just use that later.
Yeah. So it kind of makes me think like they possibly, I guess maybe I shouldn't speculate too much, but I
I don't
mean,
know.
like
It,
if they got feedback that people didn't like it, it's probably just easier to turn them into a feat, especially
well,
with like a deadline.
also feedback is almost always a vocal minority, and in particular, people that are angry are more likely to speak out than people that are happy or don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you're like, yeah, I want to see that, you're not gonna go on to tell Jeremy Crawford that you want to see this thing that they're saying that they're gonna do. You're just gonna wait for it to come out. But if you're unhappy, then you might go and say, why are you doing this? And then the people that don't care either way, they're not going to do anything. So that's the problem with listening to feedback on anything before something is out,
Mm-hmm.
because you're really only going to hear the people that don't like it. It's pretty rare to hear many people that do, because that's just not how people work.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a good example of that. I liked it when I read it. I know when I read through Unearthed Arcana, I didn't make a comment saying that's a great idea.
No, you just moved on with your life thinking that's going to be fun to play when it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. And like I didn't think they would drastically change it like that too.
Yeah.
Like it seems like such a U-turn to like put the effort in to make these subclasses and then just turn them into feats. Which we did talk about how the feats are good, but it's just
They're
seemed
fine.
seemed like a waste.
Yeah.
I hope they explore it again in the future, but maybe not until they get these new 5.5Es or whatever the next addition to the rules is.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
That's 2024, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Who knows when anything comes out anymore?
Yeah, that's true. Let's take it one day at a time.
Baldur's Gate was supposed to come out last year.
That-
I'm not joking.
that's funny.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, a little disappointing, but
Yeah, but whatever. I didn't buy it. I just use yours.
that is true. I honestly regret buying this book. And
Yeah.
we're gonna go into it a little bit more. Um, but the first thing we're gonna go over for Strixhaven are the magic items, which I think are like they have some nice role play parts of them, but kind of disappointing. But we'll go through them one at a time. First one, bottle of boundless coffee. It's a thermos with coffee in it that is always warm. Each time you drink it, you roll a d20. If you roll a 1, the thermos refuses to dispense coffee for an hour. You must drink it from the thermos. If you pour the coffee out of the thermos, it disappears.
Does it give you any benefits, or is it just to drink coffee?
Gives you no benefits.
I think it should give you like a +1 to your initiative or your perception or something like that.
Honestly, any benefit to this would just, I mean, pun intended, would be a benefit. I don't even know that that's a pun,
Yeah.
but like,
Oh, like this is just another joke item. Like when you have the Cape of Billowing, like it's just kind of there. It doesn't actually do anything.
yeah,
It's there for roleplay. Like you could just start giving people coffee.
you can't. Well, unless you
No,
just
you
give them a
can.
thermos.
Yeah, you can just have them drink. Like have the party in the morning. Whoever is the last one on watch is just sitting there with coffee. Then as people wake up, they come and have a swig of coffee.
Yeah. I guess that
I don't understand why it has the caveat if poured, the coffee disappears. That's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, you might actually be able to think of some unique things to do with it if you can just have like, what's that thing of water that you love to
The
have?
decanter, the decanter of endless water. But the decanter of endless water isn't just like pouring out water. You can also turn it on like a pressure washer.
That's true. And I'm not saying do that, but like maybe
No.
just like a little pour amount would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's this magic
Good.
item is like the lowest low effort magic item ever.
I know, and it's like it actually looks like they did put effort in it, but they put an effort in the wrong way. It's like each time you drink it, you roll a d20. If you roll a 1, it doesn't dispense coffee for an hour. Like that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. It should be if you roll a one, it's a really bad brew.
Yeah. It's like if the player rolls a 1, it's just gonna be like, "Oh, okay."
I guess I guess I'm not using this, and then they'll never use it ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically.
I can't imagine people using this too much. Like it's an item to give to your players and they'll be like, "Oh, cool. I'll use it." And then like probably will forget about it because it doesn't do anything. And it just
I could see people homebrewing it that it can like help with points of exhaustion or
yeah, that
help you
would
stay up so you don't need as much sleep and
that would be great.
because it's coffee. Why
Yeah.
is it not giving you anything? It's
I
coffee.
don't know. And you and I like we've had coffee in the campaigns we've played and like
I don't even
it's
I don't even like coffee.
I don't either. But yeah, a little bit disappointing for the first magic item. The second
Like a
one,
stuffed animal?
so this one is what the coffee should be. It's like a little small thing. It's a stuffed animal. If you press it to your arm, shoulder, or leg as an action, the toy will stay there for 1 hour, or until you use an action to remove it. And when you make a saving throw for being frightened, you can give yourself advantage once per long rest. It's-
I wish this was around like 6 years ago because I played a big dumb orc and one of our party members, the person didn't want to play with us anymore just because she just didn't want to play D&D anymore. So her rabbit folk character ended up dying, and it was my character's like best friend. So he just like stuffed the body in his backpack, and then the party found out and taxidermied her for me. So I have a stuffed bunny.
oh yeah,
I wish this was around because then we could just like use these rules for it.
yeah. And like it's a nice little magic item. It has a little bit of role play with it. Like you can imagine playing like a kid in Strixhaven. Just
For a big dumb orc.
yeah, exactly. Or like a big barbarian and having it. And it's not overpowered at all. It's just
Uh,
it makes sense for the item too.
It's advantage against frightened
Yeah.
once per long rest. That's not going to come up very much.
No, I think it's great. And then
Oh, textbook. Ugh,
yeah,
gross.
you're gonna be more disappointed then because
Look at all
the
these nerd
the
books.
next 5 magic
Gross.
items. I think 5 out of 8 of the magic items are textbooks that do basically the same thing, but with like slight differences. Like they're all tailored towards each college. So like
Man,
Lorehold Primer, it requires you to be a spellcaster. Yeah, like you said, it's a textbook. It has 3 charges that regains 1d3 daily at the dawn, and if you make a history or religion check while holding the primer, you can use 1 charge to give yourself a d4 to those checks immediately after you roll a d20. You can also study the textbook for a long rest, which allows you to choose one first level spell from the clerk or wizard spell list, and you can choose the spell ability modifier for it. And these are
yeah.
all the same thing, but just switching out
The
words.
the second ability of it is the one that actually matters.
Yeah. Like it's this is just another magic item that honestly has the same kind of problems of what they talked about with the subclasses. This is like very tailored towards the
It's
five.
specifically just Strixhaven.
Yeah,
Like, you can use this outside of Strixhaven, but like, why?
yeah, exactly.
I would rather get almost any other magic item.
Like one simple fix to this is just change the names. Just release 5 books with a textbook that's themed around something that each college represents, but just change the names, and then it automatically like it doesn't change what it does, but at least it's a little bit more thematically applicable to other people because they're gonna look.
Yeah.
You give them a Prismari primer. It's like, oh, okay, what's a Prismari? If you're doing a
Well,
homebrew.
if any of my characters ever came across this and opened it up, started reading it, and it was a textbook, man, that thing's going in the garbage.
Yeah,
I don't want to read a textbook for fun.
yeah. I guess depending on your character.
Very few characters would ever want to read a textbook for fun. That's not how people work.
Yeah. I'd probably change this to not require attunement by a spellcaster as well.
Yeah.
Because giving someone a first level spell and allowing them to use it once per long rest is something a lot of magic items do.
Yeah.
But
Also, you're at a school to learn how to be a spellcaster. How come you have to be a spellcaster to use it?
yeah, and I'm sure there's probably some Strixhaven lore that says they have like some inherent magic, whatever. In D&D, someone's just homebrewed, whatever. No
Well,
one,
and Strixhaven isn't even Forgotten Realms. It's from Magic.
yeah, exactly. So there's 5 magic textbooks. Kind of disappointing, but
Yeah.
it's what it is. The last magic item is the Strixhaven pennant, which bears a symbol of one of the 5 colleges, and when you wave the pennant, the symbol glitters and sheds bright light for 10 minutes and dim light for another 10 feet. Sorry, not 10.
Feet?
Bright light for 10 feet and dim light for another 10 feet.
I mean, you can measure distance in minutes, but on a map.
Yes, you're correct.
Um, I mean, it's useful.
Yeah, again, they like,
It's not a bad thing. Um, like it's specifically Strixhaven, but like you could easily just say that it's a different symbol, but use the rules for it.
absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, 20 feet of dark vision, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you have to wave the pennant, but I don't know if that takes an action. I don't remember it saying it needs to take an action.
I mean,
You can just,
it's just a glow stick.
oh yeah, absolutely. So
Wow.
those are all the magic items from
That's
Strixhaven.
it?
Yeah, the magic school
Man,
book.
this book sucks. How much did it cost?
Normal price of a book.
A waste of money. So bad.
Yeah. Then the rest of it, aside from the monsters, which we'll go over some of the monsters because I actually found them to be kind of cool, other than the stupid dragon founders, but we'll get into that. The rest of the book has. I didn't read all the specifics of the adventure because honestly I don't like doing adventures and I never play pre-made adventures. But overall,
It can be fun, but it's more fun for the party than it is the DM, in my opinion.
yeah. So like
Still fun though.
it's a pretty long adventure from level 1 to 10. Of course, you're in Strixhaven. It's pretty elaborate for like how they set up like what the players can do. Like they can get jobs for employment just like other students. You can join clubs based off your skills. And there's a whole section on writing exams and like studying, which is not a just gave me PTSD, to be honest. That's something I would not want to roleplay doing the exams. But they made a bunch of rules around it on how you can study and how you can write the exams. Not going to go into the details, but it's there. In terms of monsters, let's look at the founders first. They're all the same, Philip. They are dragons that are all the same with small changes. Now I'm going to bring up Witherbloom and Prismari. Witherbloom is all about nature and decay. Prismari is about like art, the art and expression. So sound like pretty different things. But if you look at this, they can bite, they can claw. They have a breath, but the breaths are basically a breath attack, and they have a themed damage.
Why are they dragons?
They're just, I don't know, it's just the lore. The founders are dragons. They can all use spells that are based around their kind of type, and they all have a movement that is something that's like themed around and allows them to move without provoking opportunity attacks and do a little bit of damage. But all the mechanics are just copy paste, change the color, change the type of damage, basically.
Yeah, that's really lame.
Yeah. You might think that maybe their last legendary action that takes 3 legendary actions, because they only get 3, might be kind of unique, but it's just making mascots of whatever the college it is. So Witherbloom.
That's so lame.
Yeah, remember those like fine familiars we looked at last week?
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah. So, and like these dragons look really cool visually.
That's because it's art from Magic.
Like, have you seen the Quandrix one? It's
because that's art from Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering has great art.
Yeah.
Like it's literally copy and pasted from Magic.
Oh, I know. Like when I was doing the Strixhaven campaign before, like this is a lot of art that I looked at. So yeah, super disappointing about the founders because they're also supposed to be like the strongest beings in that universe.
I was just curious about like how much other source books had, just to see. So I was just clicking through them. This has so little.
Oh yeah,
because it's also an adventure, but like, jeez.
like it should not be a source book. Like it's honestly
No,
false advertising.
It's an adventure book. It's an adventure book with some source material.
Yeah, absolutely. And
like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, that's a source book.
Yeah.
Mythic Odysseus of Theros, that's a source book.
If it had these subclasses, it would be a source book to me.
Even then.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be like annoyed with it.
Like if you were to physically get this book, probably like 3/4 of it or more would be this adventure.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, like in my campaign, the most interesting part of it was like looking into the professors of each of the schools, and they actually do make like one of each professor. They don't give them names for some reason. They just say they're professors of Witherbloom, of Decay. Why? I don't know why they don't do it by name. Like it seems I'm not too much into Magic Gathering lore, but when I looked it up, like the wiki said, like this is the dean of that. There didn't say anyone else was the dean at any point. It's just like they're cards too in Magic the Gathering, those characters. So I don't know why they didn't give them their names.
That's weird.
But they're all kind of high level spellcasters that are all themed around their thing. some interesting mechanics. They're not legendary, which is disappointing. But
They're not.
no, they're not
This book
legendary.
is just wild to me.
If they were legendary, I think they'd be a lot more interesting. But
One, creatures and stuff don't need to be high level to be legendary.
no, they don't. For some reason, they didn't make them legendary.
I don't know, man. This book, it's so good.
But there are some cool monsters, like the Damogoth Titan, which is a legendary monster. Have you seen the picture of it?
Got a lot of arms.
Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting one. Like if it with Pact of Suffering, if it can use like a 10-minute long ritual, and uh, the creature becomes bound by the pact until it dies. The Titan can choose one spell from the Necromancy that is 8th level or lower, and the bound creature can cast that spell using this pact, requiring no material components and using intelligence. So I find that like interesting as a DM, creating like minions that this Damogoth Titan creates, or even if it steals like an NPC well known to them.
It could be fun.
Yeah, I mean they only cast it once, but it's 8th level or lower necromancy. So like it's just very well themed that it takes over their mind, and I think it just controls them too.
Need to be a pretty high level party to fight this thing.
Oh, absolutely. This is challenge rating is well 16, depending on how many minions you give it.
It just has a lot of hit points and can teleport as an action.
Yeah. And what is
That's
terrorize?
a lot.
Yeah. Terrorize is a pretty simple thing. Deals damage, DC wisdom saving throw. Gets frightened if it fails.
Oh man. It also heals when it hits things.
Yeah. So I love how this thing looks. I like how it plays. I think it's a good addition.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, True Sight, lovely.
Yeah. How much True Sight?
120.
Wow.
Yeah. Not sneaking up on that thing.
Telepathy as well. Pretty good against any spell. The saving throws are plus 12, plus 9, and
Hey,
plus 10.
it's only plus 12. You just need to do dex saves against it.
Yeah.
Fireballs and lightning bolts.
Immune to psychic, can't be charmed or frightened.
I mean, that's not a big deal because all that is charisma, wisdom, and intelligence saves. So
Yeah, this would be come at it with
this
melee.
is you come at it with the fireball.
With fireball, yeah. Isn't that everything though?
Fireball all day.
Yeah. You'll kill
That's
the
a dex
minions.
save.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a dex save. And it sucks at dex. It has 10 dexterity.
Yeah.
Terrible. Mage Hunter. Wow, that thing's cool.
Yes.
I want to
So
ride one.
well, you usually play mages, so
Yeah, so
I'm a big fan of anything that specifically goes for spellcasters as a DM, because
wow. Why do you hate me?
spellcasters are just always in the back, not taking any damage. This is
Uh,
interesting.
a big reason of why I always play spellcasters is because the people I play with usually don't.
And then you played a campaign with 2 birds.
And a fairy.
So something cool, like I think this monster would be fun to play as the DM because it's got 2 different forms that it can switch to with a bonus action. So like the first form is Sentry, which allows it to use like Mage Tracker and like emits a pulse to um, within 120 feet of that, and it tries to emits a pulse 120 feet. Each creature within 120 feet of the hunter that has the ability to cast spells must succeed a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw or be marked by the hunter for an hour. So these things are exactly what they say they are. They're mage hunters. They have a form that they can switch to like find mages, even if they go invisible.
This is the kind of thing that in a TV show or movie, you like the heroes would be behind a wall hiding while they're like sniffing around for them,
Mm-hmm.
slowly getting closer. Then suddenly there's like someone casting magic to
Yeah,
distract them.
and like
That's always how it goes. They can fly.
yeah, in sentry form, they can hover.
Oh, they become like dragonflies. That's cool.
Yeah,
Man, I want one as a pet.
yeah, that'd be cool.
It'd be awesome. Have like a blood hunter with one of these.
Yeah, and like its hunter form, they're all melee attacks, pretty standard.
Yeah.
But consume and destroy. When the hunter takes damage from a spell, it takes only half the triggering damage, rounded down. If the creature that casts a spell is within 60 feet, that creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take the other half of the damage, which makes it even stronger.
That's annoying.
Yes. It's immune to blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, and prone as well. It's got blind sight for 120 feet.
It doesn't have a lot of HP.
No, absolutely. If you,
But like, if you had two of these,
yeah, these things could be absolutely deadly. Climb 40 feet. Oh, hunter form only, but whatever. I kind of wish it had a ranged attack. Like in sentry form, maybe if it had a ranged attack or like a reaction. Could like
fine
you,
without it, because if you cast a spell on it,
yeah,
then
I guess that's true. That's way better to have.
yeah, and it has a speed higher than most martial classes. So, and it can spider climb.
Yes. So that's a great monster that was added. Could probably be used in a lot of different campaigns.
Yeah. So
Okay.
far, it's the best part of the book.
Yeah. But that's all I put for
Is that it?
monsters.
Is that it?
There are some other monsters.
Just nothing good.
There's some interesting ones. I didn't want to go like going through monster sheets is a lot of like specifics.
That's
Um,
true.
so I didn't want to go through too
This
many
one
of
probably won't
them.
even come up either.
Yeah, absolutely. There is like a weaker version of like a Daemogoth as well. Like this is the Titan version, and
Oh,
they're kind of
there's a
like
smaller one.
yeah, they're kind of like mind flayers
Oh,
in a way, but a little bit more like necromancy. I guess mine.
alien boys.
Yeah. So there's about 40 other monsters. Um, but again, that 40 includes like a professor of two professors per college, plus like whatever the rank is below professor of each college, and then like below that as well. So like probably about half of them are just like spellcasters from each college.
That's lame.
Which I'm not even really sure why they're in there, because if you're making a Strixhaven campaign, why are you fighting these spellcasters? And why do we need monster sheets for them? We can make spellcasters.
Yeah, but if you were to have like a big monster attack the school, you need a stat block.
That's true. I just would rather them spend their time making other monsters that
Good
might.
product.
Yeah, good products.
You know who's my favorite spellcaster in all of the just the monster list? Not in Strixhaven list, but just in general. It's Traxigor. It's a spellcaster. It's he he was a wizard that polymorphed into an otter,
Oops. How do you spell Draxcore?
and Traxigor. If it's T, not D.
Wait, what?
T.
Oh, X-Gore.
It's the highest CR rated beast. It's a wizard that polymorphed into a otter, and it was made permanent by a wish spell.
Oh yeah,
So it's just a little otter that can cast all these spells.
I like that.
Yeah, it's just silly.
So the last thing I was going to talk about with Strixhaven is, well, if it's even worth being a source book, but just telling you what's in it seems like we've already had that conversation.
I wouldn't spend money on this.
Yeah. I'm disappointed that I did. I really am.
Get a refund.
Can you do that on D&D Beyond?
I have no idea. I've never tried.
Yeah.
It's never been something that I've really
It's
worried about.
never really come
Because
up.
I don't buy the full book. I'll usually just buy the stuff that I'll actually use out of it.
Yeah. I mean, should probably do that because the amount of books I actually read are very little.
You know, I just buy like if there's a bunch of classes, I'll just buy the classes and races, and then I usually don't get the monsters or the magic items unless I see a magic item when I'm just looking at magic items and I'm like, hey, that looks cool. And it's like, you got to buy this book. So then I go and then I buy it. I don't do it till then
Yeah.
because like I still don't have most of the books or the content because it has never come up. So I'm happy I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of books.
Yeah. Well, overall, pretty disappointing, for sure. Yeah. You got any more closing thoughts about Strixhaven before we move on to spells?
Nope.
Okay. Spells are more fun to talk about, anyways. Well, it is
Love
fun.
spells.
It is fun to hate
Spells
on
are fun.
things sometimes.
It's fun to hate on something that wasn't made well.
Yeah, hate on things that kind of deserve them.
Yeah.
Okay, our favorite spells. So, as I texted you about yesterday, um, feel
Your
like
favorite cantrip?
what's my favorite cantrip?
Yeah.
Thorn Whip.
Thorn Whip. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't use it
I wasn't
much.
expecting that. I've never heard you use it before.
Uh, just before we get into it, just for people who are watching, we're gonna go from cantrips to 5th level. Not too many people do higher level spells, and honestly, I don't play any higher level spellcasters. Philip does; he loves spellcasters, but
I'm a magic boy.
yes, he's a magic boy. I look at all of the spells I have in my spell book. Like I played a 12th level cleric once. There's way too many
12th
spells.
level cleric. Yeah, well, clerics just get a lot of spells.
Yeah, it's a lot to look
Like,
at.
I multi-classed my bard once into cleric, and I have like 10 cantrips and 11 first level spells or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's just not that interesting to me to play a high level spellcaster. But so we're just gonna go from cantrips to level 5. But yeah, Thornwhip. The reason I like this one, I don't use it much, but in one of the future campaigns, I'm gonna play an armor artificer again. Sort of like exactly like I did with Riz, but like really go into the tanky side of armor because when I had Thorn Whip, like the artificer really felt like I was like controlling the battlefield, and Thorn Whip as a tank really allows you to like pull enemies out and away from allies that might not want to run away if because they don't want to provoke an opportunity attack. And like there was one time with Cam where I pulled one unintentionally. I pulled him in range of Cam, and he had, I think it was a fighter superiority dice thing that he could like use as reaction if like someone moves within 5 feet of him to hit him. So that guy was
That's
actually,
that's a feat.
oh, that's a feat. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I just like it for the battlefield control side of it, and I really like to pair this up with a Eldritch Knight because I think they can use a cantrip for as one of their attacks, right?
They can't use Thorn Whip though.
Oh, they don't get Thorn Whip?
No. However, I will clue you into a little something something that honestly sounds like it fits better with Artificer and does the same thing. It's called Lightning Lure.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say Lightning Lure.
Yeah, because it's basically the same thing, just not as long range, but it does more damage, and it's lightning, which just I think makes more sense for Artificer. But he also is a wizard spell, so Eldritch Knight would get it.
Does it pull?
Yep.
Okay, then yeah, I'd be happy to get that.
Yeah, it's only a 15-foot range. We could pull 10 feet, and it's a D8 of damage instead of D6.
Okay, so it is better.
Well, Thorn Whip is 30-foot range, so
Oh
twice
yeah,
the range.
that's
But
true.
this one, you would pull people like right next to you.
Yeah. So that's why I like it. Honorable mention would be Fireball, but honestly, it's kind of boring to talk
I
about.
mean, Fire Bolt.
Firebolt.
You call it
Yes,
Fireball every time.
I know. Because I don't. I never play a character that uses Fireball, so it's never corrected, I guess.
My
Yours?
favorite is my favorite is Message.
Yeah. Why is this your
It,
favorite?
it didn't used to be, but I've been using it a lot lately, and it's so useful.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to just talk in someone's head so that other people don't know what you're talking about. Oh, so helpful. Plus, you could like set up an ambush and stuff a lot easier because you can. It's a range of 120 feet,
Mm-hmm.
so you can go on either side of like a square and like talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's just really useful.
It's
Because I mean,
use.
I generally don't use cantrips for damage, just in general. I'll usually give my spellcaster decent dex so that they can use daggers or a crossbow or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Like.
then I'll take like utility cantrips that I can just use all the time. Like that one character I used Mold Earth and Minor Illusion so that I'd kill people and instantly bury them.
Yeah. I like that campaign.
Yeah, that lasted like 3 weeks.
It got replaced by another campaign.
Yeah, which got replaced by another character.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes when the people that are mostly playing it are the ones that aren't playing anymore.
That is true. Yeah, message can be used in so many different ways. Like,
Yeah, it's
it,
just super useful.
yeah, absolutely. And
I really
like,
like Booming Blade too.
yeah, Booming Blade is very helpful for like that crowd control as well. I mean, they might just not care, but
Green Flame Blade is useful too. I mean, they're
yes,
basically the same.
as long as you have two people.
Not even.
Yeah,
It's still
it's still
still is
helpful.
extra damage.
Hmm. So level one, inflict wounds.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with a level 1 damage spell.
Yeah, and it's 3d10.
Yeah.
So
It's just useful.
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's very good. And it's just I think it's the highest damage first level spell,
I think it is. Yeah.
I imagine. But it's just really good. I like to take damage spells early because the later spells tend to have more fun with other stuff. So I'd rather take an early damage spell like Inflict Wounds, which you can upcast, and
Yeah.
then
Well, I think that's something that's very helpful with this is like it scales really well. Like some spells don't scale too well. Like they get outshined by other ones that you can get at higher levels, but
yeah, Inflict Wounds is just really good at killing that one guy in particular.
yeah, you have to get up close as a spellcaster. It might be a little scary, but
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, the way I play spellcasters, it's fine.
Hmm. Now, can you guess my favorite first level?
Can I guess your favorite first level spell? Is it catapult?
No, it's Grease.
No. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
probably could guess
catapult.
that if you gave me more than one guess.
Well, yeah, catapult or Grease is catapult is probably like one of my favorites as well, but I think it's a little bit
Catapult,
boring.
catapult is one of my go-to damage spells because it's just good.
Yeah, I think one time I was like, what can I throw? I have a pickaxe, and I think whoever was a DM let me like add an extra D4 of like piercing or something on top of it. Just
I think that
like
was me.
I probably was. Just like get curious with or get creative with what you can throw. Just have to
Oh
throw.
yeah. And if you ever don't know what to throw, you have a pocket full of coins.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, Grease. Um, Slick grease covers the ground in a 10-foot square centered on a point within range and turns it into difficult terrain for the duration. It can also cause people, if they end their turn in it or if they enter it, to fall prone if they fail a dexterity saving throw. So, just another, like, battlefield control spell.
I know we never play with components, but I love the components for grease.
A bit of pork rind or butter. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah, it's just silly.
Yeah,
I also like that grease is flammable.
it is flammable and it's also not concentration to put down,
Yeah.
which is very helpful. Because a lot of battlefield control spells are concentration.
Concentration sucks.
Yeah, it's not the most like powerful spell in the world, but
I mean,
monsters.
it's a first level spell. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, but like monsters will probably go around it, or you put it underneath them and they fall prone, and the melee people beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
Or you just cast it and then shoot a firebolt in.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on your DM, they might even let it still be slippy on fire. Which is just a nightmare. Whoever's in it. Level 2. Classic Misty Step, Philip.
Can't go wrong with Misty Step, Colby.
Mm-hmm. Allows you to teleport 30 feet to any unoccupied space. I love that it's a bonus action, too.
I love teleportation. Ever since I watched X2 as a kid and I saw Nightcrawler going in to kill the president,
Mm-hmm.
teleportation is just so cool.
That's a very, that's such a cool intro
Yeah.
scene to that movie, too.
It's such a shame that he doesn't do anything else the rest of the movie.
Oh, yeah. It's very lame. But, oh well.
But you know what I really like about Misty Step?
So,
The classes that get it. Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard, that's pretty normal, but Paladin classes get it.
oh, yeah. Oath of the Ancients, Oath of Vengeance, Oath of
Can
the
you
Open
imagine
Sea.
a Paladin just appearing behind you and smiting the crap out of you?
Yeah. Circle of the
It'd be
Land,
terrifying.
Coast. Yeah, like you really can't go wrong with taking this spell. It's just so helpful.
The first homebrew magic item I ever made was a belt of Misty Step.
Of course it was.
Well, and the reason why I made it is because the DM gave me a helm of teleportation, thinking that it was Misty Step. And then I read it more and was
Oh yeah.
like, well, this is way too much for a third level character.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just went and made a belt of Misty Step, and we said that's what I bought instead.
Hmm. Mine is Heat Metal.
It's a good one.
Yeah, a lot of these are coming from my Artificer characters.
I can tell.
Well, like the thing I love about Heat Metal is like you can heat like their armor, and that's something they can't take off. Like when you heat it, they take damage regardless, but if they choose to hold on to it, then they keep taking damage and end up, if they don't drop the object, they have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability and all ability checks until the start of my next turn. Where I like it's concentration, so like every time
Yeah,
it
that's
comes,
fine.
yeah, every time it comes around, you have to use your bonus action to deal damage. But being able to just deal like once you it also doesn't take any like check or roll for it. It just you just light it on fire. You just heat it up. And yeah, it's just consistent 2d8 damage at second level if they choose to keep holding on to it. If they don't, if it's a battle axe or a longsword, you just disarmed the melee enemy as well.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
You can also use it to torture people by putting coins in their mouth.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this like being
or if a character has earrings or rings or a necklace.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like anything that you can find on the person. Most people are wearing metal, so you can just do it on anything. I just love the holding part of it though. And like if they choose not to drop it, that seems a little bit overpowered. Like disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Yeah, but that person's gonna come for you.
Oh, absolutely. They realize. When you're an artificer though, with your like very high ability checks and pretty high armor class, it's hard for them to break that concentration out on you.
Yeah.
Out of you. Level 3. Some are lesser demons, eh?
Yeah.
This looks complicated.
It's not. You can summon 2 demons of challenge rating 1 or lower, 4 of half, or 8 of quarter.
So why do you like this one?
Because you could summon 4 abyssal chickens, man. Sorry, 8 abyssal chickens.
8 abyssal chickens.
Really, I like to control the action economy.
Yeah.
The summoning things that can do that are really good. Like Maw demons are challenge rating of 1, so you can summon 2 of them. They each have 33 hit points and have a bite attack, which is +4 to hit and does 2d8 +2 piercing damage. And they're immune to poison, immune to charm, frightened.
Yeah. And they're
resistant to cold, fire, and lightning. Or you can summon 2 Varghouls, which is a head with wings. It's literally like a zombie head with bat wings. and it can kiss people, and it
and they can kiss people? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, if someone's incapacitated, it can kiss them, and it has to succeed on a charisma saving throw or become cursed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also like very thematically cool, just like randomly summoning like a horde of demons, and it's scalable too. So like at 6th or 7th, you summon twice as many demons. 8th or 9th, 3 times as many demons.
Well, and imps are challenge rating of 1. Imps can turn invisible.
Oh yeah.
They can also polymorph into rats, ravens, and spiders. And this lasts an hour. So you could summon 2 imps, have them be invisible, or have them become spiders and go over and then like spring up and attack. And their attacks, +5 to hit, it's a d4 +3 piercing damage, and then it's con save against 3d6 poison. And it's still half damage on a successful save.
It says...
Oh, I know.
that they're hostile to all creatures, including you.
I know.
Okay. I guess you could dispel them, though.
Yeah,
you really needed to.
It's also range of 60 feet.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You could, like, put them around the ranged units in the back.
Yeah, like, it's concentration, so, you could just stop concentrating on it.
Yeah. They did.
And also, you form a circle on the ground so that they don't hurt you, so, it's fine.
Yeah, it does say that they
It's
Oh
it's
yeah,
like the circle to protect from sea bears in SpongeBob.
sure. I don't remember that episode.
Oh man, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward are camping, and they say that you have to get inside the circle or the sea bear will attack you. And Squidward doesn't believe them. And then the sea bear comes over, sees the circle, and he stops, and then he attacks Squidward because he's not in the circle.
I see.
Yeah,
SpongeBob's great. Well, my favorite is Blink. I don't know if
of
you
course.
remember Blink.
Of course I remember Blink. Blink is fun.
Yeah. So like
Blink is overpowered.
it is definitely overpowered. It doesn't take any concentration. It takes an action. You roll a d20 at the end of each of your turns. If you roll 11 or higher, you vanish from your current plane of existence and appear in the ethereal plane. And you just appear next time. You can also return in a space that is 10 feet from the space that you vanish. So if someone's just waiting to like readying their attack, you can get out of their reach if they don't have like a 10-foot
Yeah.
attack reach. And yeah, no concentration. And it just goes for a minute. You just cast it, and then you just possibly could not get hurt at all for a whole turn. Um,
Yeah,
it,
it's definitely helpful.
and it's 11 or higher, so like that's 50-50.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, if there's a spellcaster, I don't know much about like how things work on the ethereal plane, but I know people can get there.
It's the easiest plane to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's pretty situational that someone has something to counter it.
Well, especially at 5th level, which is when you get through level spells.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then, something we didn't talk about, but we kind of have to. Elephant in the room. Fireball and lightning bolt. I mean, they're
Oh,
just good.
absolutely. Yes.
Also, haste. Haste is one of, if not the best, like support spell.
Yeah.
It's so strong
hmm
because it gives you an extra action and doubles your speed and ups your AC.
Yeah.
Like,
There's honestly a lot of good third level spells.
yeah. Well, there's that other honorable mention I put. I don't know if you looked at it. It's a newer one.
No, I
It's from
didn't.
Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, Ashardalon's Stride.
Oh, yes, I do know that one. You can.
Yeah, concentration for a minute. Your feet turn into fire, and then your speed increases by 20. No opportunity attacks, and you cause fire damage to everyone you run past.
Yeah. That one just sounds like thematically fun too.
Oh, it sounds super fun.
hmm
I was working towards getting that spell with that pyromancer that I was making that one time. The one that was
Oh
afraid
yeah.
of water.
Oh yeah, that campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I wanted this, and then get the elemental monk, so I could just run around setting people on fire, punching them with fire punches.
Nice.
Just a fun spell.
Yeah. So you chose polymorph for level 4.
Yeah,
That's a. I'm not
polymorph.
surprised.
Polymorph's the best spell in the game. Like,
Yes.
what do you mean?
I'm very aware of polymorph.
You're very aware of my usage of polymorph.
I fought a giant gorilla. My
It's
BBEG.
so strong.
Yeah.
The fact that you become a beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than the target's level.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I have never once used this against an enemy. I've only ever used it on myself and allies to turn them into big beasties to fight things.
yeah. Like one of the best things is like using it on allies too.
Yeah,
Because like
because then you can go hide while they fight it.
yeah, or if someone's hurt, like really low health, just turn them into a giant gorilla or something and they have full health. Now they can keep
Yeah.
fighting.
It's it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. It's very like self-explanatory how good this one is. But
Yeah. Well, and it's like a giant pool of temp hit points.
yes, and new abilities.
Yeah, it's just absurd
Does the
how good it
dam?
is. Well, and it's good for any situation.
Mhm.
Oh, you have to fight a dragon? Okay, become a T-Rex. Oh, you have to sneak into something? Okay, become a spider.
Mhm.
Oh no, there's a big group of people? Become an octopus. Like there's
Yes.
beasts for any situation.
Yes.
You can become a giant eagle, fly away.
Yeah. It's just so helpful.
Also, I love the component for this one. It's caterpillar cocoon, because that's just like
That makes sense. Yeah.
you become a pretty butterfly.
Yeah. And bard, druids, sorcerers, wizards, and
Trickery
trickery
domain cleric.
domain get it. So the majority of the high level spellcasters get it.
All of them.
Well, I was including clerk, but they
Yeah, trickery domain is cleric.
I know it's a domain, but they don't have it standard. But
No.
yeah,
Trickery domain's the best domain though.
yeah. Isn't there like a warlock invocation that gives polymorph as well?
It's a subclass thing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Or it might be like the magical secrets kind of thing. Because you just get like spells from any spell list.
Yeah. I haven't really played warlocks much.
Yeah, it's a little strong. I mean, bards can get spells from any spell list too, as magical secrets.
Yeah.
Bards
Well,
are bards are great.
mine is Autoluke's Resilient Sphere.
Yours is the hamster ball.
Yes, because I just find it hilarious that you can put enemies in a hamster ball and then like just roll them away. Like if they can't teleport out, they're screwed. Like they are immune to damage in there, but I mean we had a pretty big fight against like multiple people in your campaign, and like I just turned one into a ball, and we just waited until the fight was over and just all ganged up on him. Or we didn't even do it; the other people did it, but just can take someone out of the fight, and they're in a ball.
And it's silly
Yeah, it's definitely a very silly spell.
in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can use your action to push against. Oh, an enclosed creature can use its action to push against the sphere's walls and thus roll the sphere at half
You
the
can
creature's
run in
speed.
it like a hamster.
Yeah, that's funny. Similarly, the globe can be picked up and moved by other creatures.
Hmm.
Just a great fun spell.
Just a good time.
Yeah. And I probably like it a lot more because actually I think I've cast it way more times than it actually worked, but I still love it for the
You
for the one
used it a
time.
few times out of combat too.
I don't remember, but I'm sure I did because I was always trying to find an opportunity to put people in a hamster
One
ball.
time you used it just in a hallway, and you just walked down the hallway in it.
What?
Yeah,
I don't remember that, but okay.
yeah. Don't worry about it.
It was a long time ago. A lot
It
of
was like 6 months ago.
It was a long time ago.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, another good fourth level that I really like is Dimension Door.
Oh yeah.
It's just self-explanatory. It's a big teleportation door.
Yeah, I know you like
Just,
teleportation stuff.
yeah. Well, and that's not a combat one. It's just useful.
Isn't teleportation circle a fifth level spell?
It's a fifth level spell, I think.
I was surprised you didn't choose
Yes,
it.
it is. Well, no, because I like Steel Wind Strike.
Yeah, this one is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just love the idea of it. It's like an anime attack.
Yeah, you choose up to 5 creatures. Make a melee spell attack against each target. On a hit, a target takes 6d10 force damage.
You hit on all five, it's 30d10.
Yeah, that's insane. And you move around like crazy.
Yeah, you could just take out a whole group of people.
Yeah,
I just
that's.
love that.
I can't believe it's 6d10.
I love that Rangers get it.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, you won't get it for a long time because it's a 5th level spell, but
yeah.
Rangers get it.
Also a ranged ranger,
Uh,
but
Rangers don't get it until 17th level.
oh yeah, they don't get 5th levels forever. That's the life of a half spellcaster.
Yeah, but I mean, this would still be useful. And even if you're a ranged ranger, um, if you were to get a scimitar or short sword or a rapier, it uses dex
Yeah.
because it doesn't use the damage of your weapon. So it doesn't
No.
matter what weapon you use. You could pull out a dagger
Yeah.
because it's a spell attack. It's not. It has nothing to do with the weapon you use.
Yeah. Like I feel like even one person not too bad for damage for a 5th level spell. Because what is like inflict wounds? Wouldn't that be like 7 or 8 d10 at 5th level?
Maybe 7.
Yeah. So like this is just one below a very high damaging single target melee one, but this can do it up to 5 people.
Yeah. So like for another damage spell at 5th level, I just looked at 5th level spells. There's Flame Strike. The 10-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder, dex save, and it's 4d6 fire, 4d6 radiant.
Okay.
Now it's an area, but it's only 10-foot radius.
Yeah.
And
And
then there's also like immolation. That's against one person.
yeah, but even like some of those area effect ones, like DMs don't usually create like tons and tons of enemies for good reason. Like 5 is
Oh, it's just a
probably,
hassle to run.
yeah. So like this is a perfect amount. So like an area of effect one wouldn't even have that much of an advantage unless it's like there's a lot of them.
Well, that's also just how we play. Like you learned the game with me DMing, and I don't like games where as a player you take your turn and then you wait an hour before you get to do anything again. I've never liked that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of DMs have more lower difficulty fights per day instead of every few days a bigger difficulty fight, which is kind of what the style is that we've been playing.
Yeah,
I prefer it this way.
I do.
Also, just like in a world with a civilization, with trading and everything, you wouldn't just have bands of roaming things everywhere.
Yeah,
That just doesn't make sense. That humans wouldn't go for that. Humans kill themselves. They would not allow monsters to just hang out near their village.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. So definitely a great spell.
Yeah.
Component, just a melee weapon worth at least 1 silver. That's so cheap.
Yeah. I mean, you need it for the spell.
Yeah. So my favorite 5th level spell is the Wall of Force,
Yeah, well, of
which
course it's good.
is what I used to win that fight at the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that actually saved me. To anyone that wasn't there, which is basically everyone except Philip and I.
To anyone that wasn't there to this private game we played 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wrong. Let me speak. I'm correct. Okay. To anyone that wasn't there, what happened was I was an artificer artillerist, and I had my artillery cannons outside, kind of far away from me, and it was a 1v1 fight between me and another character. We were all level 20 too. It was like the finale of the campaign. We were going to all fight each other at level 20. Um, I was going to lose, but I had been saving the Wall of Force for a oh shit moment, and what I can do with this is you can form it into a hemispherical dome or a sphere with a radius of up to 10 feet. So I made it so it was just around myself, and nothing can pass through it. He was a paladin, So he didn't really have anything that could like
He was a
just.
cleric.
Oh, he was a cleric. That's right. But he was Forge Domain, and he had all of his spell slots were mostly burned
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah. He was a cleric, a melee-based cleric with like no hit points, even though he was the tank.
Yeah. And like nothing can move through this. The only thing that can destroy it is disintegrate. It can't be dispelled by dispel magic too. And like I said, immune to all damage. So I was just shooting him with my turrets while I was just hiding inside of that. And I don't know if I had a spell that I could deal damage to him with. I don't remember. But if you have a spell that doesn't have to move physically, that just appears at a location. Oh yeah, I had fire. No, I had ice storm because it wasn't like something that was had to move through the wall of force, just appeared above. I was hitting him with ice storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why this
Because
is my favorite one.
you killed Brian with it.
Yes. And I'll admit it was fairly cheap.
I mean, you were hiding most of the fight too.
Yeah, fair enough. But there was also a flying warlock that could send 8 Eldritch Blasts. Every time I tried to show my face after a while, I just got shot off the wherever I climbed up. It was a fun campaign.
Mhm. I really like Wall of Stone as well.
Yeah, I was looking at
Wall,
that one.
Wall of Stone is cool because you could just like make a house.
Yeah, honestly, any wall is great.
Yeah.
Even wall of air,
Wall of Wind.
same thing.
Wind wall.
Wind wall. It's actually a little bit annoying that they didn't just stick with the naming scheme. There's like tons of wall of whatever. I guess chromatic wall is not wall of chromatic. Never mind.
No, it's whatever grammatically makes the most sense. I
Yeah,
also
that's
really
true.
like Gios.
Say Gios?
Yeah. It's like the command spell cranked up to 11.
Oh, so it's like,
So you place a magical command on a creature you could see, force it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity you decide, if they can understand you. It must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or it's charmed for the duration. While charmed by you, it takes 5d10 psychic damage each time it acts in a manner counter to your instructions. If it can't understand you, it's unaffected. And you
I see.
can issue any command you choose, short of an activity that would result in certain death. Like you can't tell it to jump off a cliff.
Makes sense.
Um, it lasts for 30 days. You can end it
30
early
days?
by
Jeez.
dismissing it, or if someone uses Greater Restoration, Remove Curse, or Wish.
Those spells that like last like days and weeks are just ridiculous.
Yeah, so you could cast this on someone, and then for 30 days, you could just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since as soon as the 30 days runs out, you can just do it again.
Yeah.
And bards, clerics, druids, paladins, wizards, and Oath of the Crown all get it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
mean, that's a lot of classes.
maybe there will be one day where I play a high level spellcaster, and then we can actually talk about 6th level to 9th level spells. Because I actually went and looked it up. Like I was actually gonna pick spells for 6th, 11th, 8th, and 9th. I didn't know like any of them, to be honest.
I do, not because of being a player using them, but because in the campaign that I ran for you guys, I had enemies that were using them.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've
Like
used.
Magic Jar, I used against you guys when you found the ghost ship.
Oh, really? I don't remember what that does or what it did.
Um, when you use Magic Jar, or no, not the ghost ship. When you fought the River City crew outside the walls of the city. One of them fell unconscious because he took over someone else's body. That was Magic Jar.
I vaguely remember that fight.
It's essentially like you send your soul out to steal someone else's body, and then you just use their body.
That's pretty cool. I actually thought I think I remember thinking that was like a subclass thing or like a feature.
No.
I didn't know that was a spell.
It's a spell. It's called Magic Jar. It's pretty.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Only wizards get it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
although you could get it other ways. Magical secrets.
Any final words about Strixhaven or spells before we end this episode?
I don't like Strixhaven, but I like spells.
Spells are good. You'd think that they would go well with Strixhaven. I guess the spells weren't bad actually. The spells were good that they added.
Fine.
I like them.
There should have been more of them. It's a magic school. Why are there only 5 spells?
Yes, and why is it a source book? Definitely an adventure.
Should have been more than 5 spells.
Yeah. It might be the best adventure ever, but
if you had to pick a spellcaster class to play of Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard, which one would you pick? If you were to start a campaign right now and play one.
Well, you didn't say Warlock, but definitely not
That's
Warlock.
because it's not a full caster.
Yeah, I agree. Did you say Cleric? Because I'd probably do Cleric.
I said Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Wizard.
Yeah,
the ones that actually are full casters.
I'd do a Cleric. I think I'd probably do a Forge Domain Cleric, which is basically an Artificer with high-level spells. I can't deal with the... You
never want to just try with something else, huh?
I've tried them. I hate the low health. I hate the low AC. Like, I just get destroyed. I want to be a spellcaster with armor.
Bards don't have either of those problems.
That's true. Maybe a bard.
Same with druids.
All the proficiencies are nice.
Bards, clerics, and druids all get D8s. Also, bard, you could be a College of Swords or College of Valor.
Yeah.
If you were gonna pick one of those, take College of Valor. College of Swords is just a worse version.
And like, I wouldn't mind a Blade Singer Wizard. I've looked at those before.
Just do it. Be fun.
I know, we need a new campaign to do it in.
Well, I'll make one. Jeez.
You'll make a campaign?
Yeah, why not?
We'll talk about that more after. Gotta close the episode now. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is the second episode of -1 Charisma. If you made it this far, it's absolutely amazing. We've been recording for an hour and 15 minutes, and that's also one of the reasons didn't do 6th to 9th.
It was shorter than last time.
Yeah, fair enough. Honestly, every time I say 6th to 9th, I just have to stop myself from saying 69.
Nice.
Like, several times I've like said 6th to 9th in different ways. I was like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever, because I was trying to avoid saying that.
It has never once even registered for me.
Really? This sounds like something you would think about.
I don't know, maybe I'm tired.
You gotta be. But again, thanks for watching, everyone. All that stupid YouTube stuff, like, subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, then we actually got this on to audio. Have a good day, everyone.